Morning, guys. All right, so this is our Tuesday night team call. It is January 24th. Sorry, I'm like so out of sorts. I feel like I'm already looking at February, but I can't believe we're it's almost February, which is insane. We have Passion Fit Dynasty here and Firefly Nation with Nicole's team, but we are more than over the moon excited to be hosting Maggie Robertson tonight, one of my really great friends. A little cap on Maggie is actually, it's kind of funny. I think you and I both started coaching roughly around the same time, if not within about the same month or so.
Yeah, what month were you? Were you July?
I was technically July, I think.
Okay, same. Yep.
So there it is, folks, if you want to compare journeys. So we started coaching actually at the exact same time. We both come from the same kind of team, I guess, the same network team, I should say. And Maggie is officially a 2-star diamond coach who is going to new leadership in just a few weeks?
Yeah, at the end of February.
At the end of February, she's going out to LA. She qualified after working her butt off last year. She is a Success Club All-Star. And I'm going to kind of save the rest of the details for you to kind of share about because you have a really awesome story. I've reached out to you multiple times because I connect to so much of what you've been through in the last year, but we're all just kind of so excited to hear your story and your journey to where you're at now.
Well, thank you so much. That makes me feel super official with that announcement. But what Claire asked me to talk about was kind of just tell my story. I think that a lot of times we, give action steps and give okay, here's my story. Here's what you need to do, down the line. And that's not really what I wanted to do tonight. I sort of just wanted to tell you guys my story and hope that, at least one part of it resonates with you and kind of go from there. And I would really love, I know I said this already, but there are a couple people that hopped on. I would love that, if there's anything that you relate to or any story that you have that has to do with part of my journey, I would love to hear that from you. And, I know I'm the speaker for the call, but this is your team. So, if there's something you want to say and something you want to share, I'm sure that your team would love to hear from you also. So I guess the first thing I should say about my journey is I was 100% skeptic. So anyone out there who is a skeptic or who was a skeptic, that was me, 110% me. My coach, I watched her on social media for months and months and months. And I finally reached out to her and asked her about a challenge group. And she told me all about it. She presented it in a great way. She really didn't do anything wrong. I've gone back and looked at our conversations because it's fun now. And I still said no. I said, no. Beachbody, what is Beachbody? No, you guys post too much on social media. No, thank you. And I had such a closed mind. I had such a wall up, and it was because I was defensive. It was because I felt like people were trying to use me for a sale. And I'm not really sure if that was a conscious thought or if it was something that just came out. And so, just little thought that I always have in the back of my head now is how can I share differently? And I'm not saying that my coach made me feel that way. It was more just kind of the mass of coaches. But now I like to think about how can I share differently so that people see that I care about them. I'm still on my own journey and it's not just about the sale. So I think that's one of the biggest things that I try to share is making it personal. Because I know that there are so many skeptics out there and I know that I was a skeptic. And so back to my story. Sorry. One thing you guys will notice about me is I go off on crazy tangents. So Claire, if I go too far off on a tangent, please just cut me off. I'm not good at notes and following notes, so I'm just going to talk. So I said no. And then I kept watching her. And my wedding was coming up in like 3 months. And so I finally was like, all right, I got to just do a challenge group. Like, I don't care how much it costs. I need something different. I need something new. And so I reached out to her and I bought the 21-day fix, but not Shakeology. Still had my wall up for that one. And I did one of her challenge groups. I loved it. It was great. I lost weight. I was confident. I was happy. I was excited. And then I didn't talk to her for like a month. And then it was like 1 month to my wedding. So I did one more challenge group and I felt great and loved my wedding, whatever. And then I didn't talk to her for like 3 months. And then it was before my honeymoon and I jumped back in and then I didn't talk to her again. And it was kind of like I was playing this like back and forth game of committing and then quitting, committing and then quitting. And one thing I will say is she never pushed me too hard. And so that's something else that I really try to focus on in my business is meeting people where they are. Because I think about myself and I think about if after that first challenge group, if she had been like in my ear, I probably wouldn't have come back. I probably would have been annoyed. And she wasn't. She never pushed anything on me. She never pushed Shakeology on me. She suggested it, but when I said like, no, period, I'm not interested, she moved on. And so that's something I really try to do in my business. Now, if someone gives you a nugget of like, well, I don't really want the shakes because I didn't like Slim Fast, then okay, that's different than like, no, period, I don't want shakes. If they give you that little reason, you can kind of talk to them about that reason and see if they still want it. So I'm definitely not saying drop it if someone says no, because we all know that there's a lot of power in follow-up, but meet people where they are. So, if you can sense kind of that wall, let them bring the wall down. Don't you go and try to punch it down with all of your great sales tactics. And so I really respect her for giving me the space to come around myself. And so after doing multiple challenge groups and kind of doing the yo-yo thing, I saw her at Summit. Oh gosh, my dogs just came in here. They might be distracting. But I saw her at Summit. I watched her on social media, saw her whole Summit journey, and oh my God, Waylon. Sorry, glad that didn't cut off. It literally just, okay, guys, I'm so sorry. This is like super unprofessional. I'm going to get my dogs out of here because they're going to step all over the screen. Come.
Oh my God. Well, clearly there's a dog theme with our team calls, but it's not Riley. It's somebody else's dogs.
Oh my gosh. They would have been just like their faces in the call the whole time.
Oh
so sorry guys. So I watched her at Summit. I saw, it was like, I'm not really sure what it was that like lit me up about her at Summit, but she, I saw her being a part of a team. I saw her being a part of something bigger. I saw her really committing to her business, and it was like, oh, she doesn't just hide behind a computer with people she calls her friends. And that's it. So I saw what Summit did for me. My first introduction to it was watching it from the outside. And I saw I don't know how to explain it. Like it made it real for me before I decided to coach. It made coaching a real thing in my mind. And so when you guys think about events, and you think about, whether you should go or whether it's worth it or this or that, just know that there are probably people out there who, are watching and who may be thinking and wondering and going to those events and being around real people could be the thing that helps them understand how real it is. And so that it's kind of funny, you guys will hear in my story, I'm not like an ad for Summit, but Summit was what got me into the business. And then it was a huge thing for me this past summer as well. And so I saw her at Summit and I decided to coach. I joined coaching. And I was told from the get-go, like hit Success Club, that's your goal. And I did that. And it was great and things were growing and I was really enjoying it. I think for me in the beginning, leading other people is what kept kept me accountable. And that was a huge part of my journey, was just my own personal accountability. And so that's something that I really try to keep sharing, because, I've seen what these programs can do, but that does not mean that I am always sticking to a program. It doesn't mean that I'm always eating perfectly on the meal plan. I still struggle all the time, and using my own challenge groups as my own motivation is something that keeps me going. And so finding those things that, no matter how long you've been in the coaching journey or how long you've been doing this, finding those things that still connect you to people who are new or who are just starting out or who maybe are still complete skeptics, that's going to be huge for your business, but then also for finding people that you relate to. It's funny as you go how the people that join you and the people that, you end up surrounding yourself with are so similar to you. And then honestly, I think that means you're doing a good job of sharing on social media and being yourself and creating a brand that is you, and it's no one else. So I like Claire, I love that you said the dog thing, because it's like everyone on my team is like, everyone has dogs or like they're animal lovers. Their pets are always in our videos. And it's just, yeah, you kind of, your vibe attracts your tribe. I saw her step up on there in the beginning. It was so cute.
Oh my God.
But so, yeah, I think like those sorts of things, it made it real for me. And it kept me accountable. And that's why I loved coaching in the beginning. It kept me accountable. It was this community that was so positive and so inspiring and uplifting. And I was constantly like, getting excited by a new person or getting excited by a new, thing that someone overcame. And all of those things were awesome. And I really did feel like I was giving my business my all. But now looking back, I really wasn't. So another kind of little story about me, I'm an occupational therapist and I work with children and adults. And at the time of coaching, I was working full time. So 40 hours a week, 40 plus. And I was also working part-time on the weekends, not every weekend, but a lot of weekends. So I was busy. So I totally understand, any of you who are balancing, working or parenting and coaching. It's hard, and it is hard work. And that's what, just don't forget that, you have to kind of get really clear about why you want this, because it's not all sunshine and rainbows and pretty selfies. Like, it is hard work. And it is recommitting to yourself all the freaking time. And so just remember that. Okay. Tangent. I'm sorry. But so I was working full time, and I was really busy, but this journey and this experience was really filling my cup. I had a success partner, and a coach that I really looked up to as a mentor. And then let's see, like January, February, I guess, March, maybe even. It was like, early 2016. So I'd been coaching for about 6 to 7 months. All was going great. And my upline left the business. Not going to get into that at all, but she left the business and it was really hard for me. It was hard for a lot of us. And at the time, I hadn't really done anything to connect with other people on the team, on the bigger team. I really, like Claire, I don't feel like I knew you very well at all. I was closed off, if I'm being honest. I was busy. That was my excuse. I used my coach as my only mentor. So I only had one perspective on the business and how to run it. And when she left, I was like, shit, what do I do now? Who do I look up to? Who do I partner with? About someone that I look up to. And I never really said that to anyone. So I didn't say, oh, she quit the business, I'm going to reach out to all these different people on the team and make those relationships and get this back. I kind of just floated along. And I'll say that I did that for several months. All the while I had earned success starters, Success Club. In your first 3 months of the business, you earn a free ticket to Summit. And so I had earned success starters, but I had, having my wall up, that was slowly coming down, but it was still there. Skeptic to the core here, guys. I had my Summit ticket because it was free, but I never bought a flight. I never got a hotel room. I talked to some girls about staying with them and then just sort of like fizzled out. I never followed through with it. And so yeah, I wasn't making any, and I was still hitting Success Club. So technically I was still a success, but I wasn't showing up in all aspects of my business. I wasn't forming relationships. I definitely admit, and I hate to admit this, the exact opposite reason why I got into the business. But all I started focusing on was hitting Success Club and, was an income. And so I would get challengers into challenge groups and would schedule my posts, and I'd be somewhat present, but not really. And the difference in those 4 or 5 months was that this opportunity was not filling my cup because I was not giving it everything I could and taking everything I could from it. I wasn't using the community. And so that is like so huge to me. So huge to me. And I hope it is to you guys too. Like, forming actual relationships with the people on your team is everything. It's what's going to keep people there if you go through a struggle or if something is hard or, it's what's going to keep you there. It is the glue that holds this business together, teams. And so I'm not really sure like what it was that was pulling me there. Probably a little bit of FOMO because I started seeing everybody post pictures from Nashville. But I was at work on Thursday of Summit weekend. Summit was in Nashville. I live in Pennsylvania. I was at work and I was supposed to be at work until 7 p.m. And I literally just had to leave. I had to be at Summit. I had to go. It sounds cliche. I still don't know what was pulling me there. But I had to be there. And so I told my supervisor that I was leaving. I packed up a bunch of random crap and drove through the night to Nashville. I didn't get there until I don't even remember, Friday morning, 6 a.m. or something. And to say that weekend was a business changer for me is the understatement of the year. It changed everything for me. I got to actually meet people in person that were on our bigger team. I realized that there was a bigger team. I don't even think I was a part of the team page. So Strive Forward Nation, I hope you guys are all in it. That is Rachel Khalil's team. And she is all of our uplines now, or all of the people who started, as a group with my previous coach. And I really just hadn't tapped into that network at all. So being at Summit, I got to meet all those people and connect with everyone and, realize that there was this community and these resources out there beyond what I had, beyond what I didn't have anymore. That was all I was focusing on before. And so that was one thing was huge to me. And then, seriously, if you haven't heard, I'm sure a lot of you watch YouTube videos. I'm all about YouTube videos of awesome coaches I look up to. But a lot of times I get that I don't know what to call it, envy paralysis, where you're watching someone and you're like, oh gosh, yes, that's where I want to be. That's what I want to do. And when I do that, I freeze. I don't know what to implement first. I don't know what to do. I just want to do what they're doing. And it can stop me in my tracks completely. And so I think what Summit did for me was it let me hear people's stories from start to finish. We heard from all kinds of people about how they started, and not just where they ended up and not just, how they hit Success Club 50 every month. And so all of their journeys, that was so cool to me. And then honestly, just sitting in a stadium with so many people, you just realize you're a part of something bigger. And sometimes, I'll be plugging along and I have my challenge group with some people in it and it feels like it's important. And then I'll have those moments of self-doubt where I'm like, yeah, but am I really making a difference? Am I really making my mark on the world? And when you're sitting in a stadium with hundreds of thousands of coaches who are all making their little marks, you realize that you are making a huge mark. And every single person in that stadium is part of that something bigger. And so Summit, I can't say enough about it. It was huge for just me, my business, reigniting the fire that got me started with coaching at all. And so, yeah, I think one thing I never really said until I started reflecting on it was that I was really close to quitting. And I don't know if you guys have ever felt that way or not, but I had more moments of self-doubt than self-confidence in the months leading up to Summit. I kind of was like, I'm putting in all this work and what am I really getting out of it? I was going in this negative spiral. And when you get clear on why you're here and when you truly believe that you're making a difference, because you are, guys, no matter how many people you recruited last month, no matter how many Success Club points you had or you made or whatever, you are making a difference. And when you get clear about that and you truly believe it, it is going to shoot out of your soul. I'm sorry, I sound like a crazy person. It's going to shoot out of your soul and people are going to listen. And that is what Summit did for me. The first year, it showed me the business is real. And the second year, it totally it says my internet connection is unstable. Really sorry if I get cut off. So yeah. And so then what did I do after Summit? So Summit really re-energized my team. They were excited by seeing me get there. And what I did after that was I really tried to hone in on the processes that are Beachbody, trainings and ways to get my coaches started right, ways to improve my team culture. All of those things were okay, I don't just need to be, recruiting people for challenge groups. I want to build my team. I want to get close with my team. And that has made a huge difference over the last several months. It is the reason that I'm a 2-star coach, because my team is growing and my team is rocking it. And so I think just really getting in with your team and doing things. We've started having not informative, fun team calls. We had a secret Santa where we all sent presents to each other. And then we opened them on the team call and we had to guess who they were from. We're doing some where we take leadership quizzes or personality quizzes and then we just share our results. So just ways to actually just talk about life. And not just know about your team's life from their social media posts. So that was one huge thing that we did. I'm not sure how much time I have, but do you know how much time there is, Claire?
It hasn't dinged yet, so you're still good.
Okay. So after Summit, and this is a part of, my journey that I'm proud to share and that I'm happy to share. But Claire knows this. She was there for a lot of my, ups and downs with this decision. But after Summit, and then after we went to a Diamond Leadership Retreat with Rachel Khalil, that was amazing as well. I will hang my hat on events, period. They change your business. They change you.
They do.
But this seed got planted in my head that I wanted to leave my job. And it was so hard for me. I love what I do. I love changing people's lives as an occupational therapist. That never changed. And I think part of the reason that I had such a wall up to Beachbody in the beginning was because I didn't feel like I was like the other people who hated their careers. That's constantly what I felt like I was hearing from people. I quit my career because I hated it. And that's why I'm a Beachbody coach. And if any of you can relate to that sort of feeling, you don't have to hate your career by any means. And that's not what I'm, going to present right now. But what I hated, what I didn't like, what didn't fill my cup, was the hours that they forced me to work. My job was constantly telling me they needed more evening hours. I was working until 8 p.m. and I have an hour commute. I never was eating dinner with my husband. So there was that. There was just a lot of stress for me that came down to the parameters of my job. It didn't come down to what I do. I didn't say this yet, but I'm still an occupational therapist. I just work part-time. And that's what Beachbody was able to do for me. So Beachbody was able to give me a purpose. One, I love being a coach. It just makes my soul happy. But it also was able to give me the means to make my career and my job as an occupational therapist what I want it to be. I never have any intention of completely leaving my position as an OT. I love it. And so Beachbody just gave me the ability financially to be able to step back from my full-time position, the part-time position. So I still work 2 days a week, most weeks, sometimes 3. And the rest of the time, like, I can plan for my future. I have big dreams. I can be a coach. I can make resources and create resources for my team that makes their lives easier. And so I guess like my point with that whole thing is that you don't have to want to leave your job. You don't have to, I see the 10-minute thing, by the way. You don't have to want to leave your job or be a full-time Beachbody coach. Like, you don't have to want any of those things to go all in with this business. You can just want what you want and be able to do that. And I think that's my biggest thing I want to say to people is, if you are able to show up even when you're busy, even when you're stressed, even when you don't feel like it sometimes, like if you're able to show up consistently in that way to a point where you can grow your business, then you get to choose. You get to decide. You can keep showing up to your job every single day, and that's great. Good for you. I hope you love your jobs. You can do that and then save money on the side. Or you can go part-time. Or you can, when you have a baby, you can not go back to work for a year if you want to. What this opportunity can do for you is let you choose what you want out of life. No track or right way to do it. I'm not going to preach that to anyone. Everyone's lives are different. But what this opportunity can do for you if you go all in is let you choose what you want out of life. And that has been, oh my goodness, like one of the most, like, I don't even know, one of the most freeing feelings I've ever felt in my life. And there was a lot of roller coaster up and down along the way. And I still have those moments of self-doubt. But leaning on the community, going to events and re-energizing yourself, that's what gives you the opportunity to do this business long term. And I think that's key. Yeah. Okay, I just ranted there for a second. Claire, what did I miss?
God. You
can call me out for anything if I like glossed over any part. I mean, I really went through some like hard times where I really didn't believe in myself or the business. So,
and I thank you so much for sharing all that, because it's true. Like, you guys, like Maggie and I met for the first time in September, like barely, not even 6 months ago. We always knew exactly who each other were. And yeah, you're completely right. You had a wall up. Not that I think I maybe messaged you once or twice asking for things, because when I sent you the Zoom link, I was like, oh, we talked before.
I saw that too.
I was like, oh, I didn't think that was a thing. And now we text like plenty of times, actually.
I know, it's funny that we don't use Facebook Messenger anymore. But anyways,
no. That's strictly for chat.
No, keep going. I'm sorry.
Well, and I knew your story, and obviously got to know your story this fall, but I didn't know a lot of the pre-summit parts. I could imagine what they were like, but I didn't fully know that. And I've gotten to watch you since summit, and you guys might not know exactly who Maggie was, but I still remember the day that she posted the video of her quitting her job. It still gives me chills and emotion thinking about it, because you cried in the video and I cried watching it, and I'm pretty sure I was at work because I literally stopped, dropped, and rolled, and I was like, oh my God, Maggie's dropping a bomb. And I think I texted you immediately, and I was like, we need to talk.
Yeah, it was really hard for me. I felt like I was giving up on my other dream. I felt like I was giving up on my original dream of being an occupational therapist. And what I really had to come to terms with was just that my dreams were changing. Like, they're just changing. They're different, but that doesn't mean, I'm a quitter. Doesn't mean I, am fickle. Those are all things I was thinking about myself, because I changed my mind. I got a new dream. And I don't know, don't ever feel that way about yourself. We get one freaking life, and no matter how many times we change our mind, if you are doing what you want and what's good for you, obviously, and your loved ones and your team and your family, whatever, don't be selfish. But if you're doing what's good for all of those things, then you're good. Don't worry about changing your mind. Yeah.
I freaking love that. Then we have a few, some newer coaches on the call, and your coaches will be listening to the call. Obviously, we know your plug on events, but what would you say to coaches about upcoming Super Saturdays and obviously Summit in a few months? What would you say to them?
I mean, I don't know how to say it without sounding like a commercial, but just get your butt there. Seriously, it is okay. I don't know if you guys have read the book Jab, 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 Right Hook. It's about social media, and it's about switching things up. But I feel like that, just that idea, not necessarily the book, but just the idea of jab, 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 right hook. So it's, in a fight, basically, you're jabbing, you're jabbing, you're jabbing, you're consistent, but you're doing similar things. That's great. It's going to get you somewhere. But you're going to need that right hook. You're going to need to surprise the person. You're going to need to change it up to keep moving forward. And I really think that is what I think that's what events do for you. You're jabbing, you're jabbing, you're jabbing, you're getting your workouts in, you're, meal planning, you're making your posts, you're running challenge groups. Those are all your jabs. Those are all those daily activities that are going to move your business forward. Yes, they will. Absolutely. But then you need those right hooks. And for me, those are events. I rejuvenate my excitement. I get remotivated. I meet new people. I see people, for the people that follow me, and for my team and my challengers, they see that I'm invested in this opportunity. And so events to me, no matter what the event is, our Diamond Retreat was great. A Super Saturday, Summit, anything, any of those events, I think are really just the right hooks for your business that you're going to need, and for yourself. So yeah, no advice except for get there. When I went to Summit, that was the first event I had ever been to. I didn't go to a single Super Saturday. Summit was the first event. What the hell?
Well, and I thought it was so funny. Well, because that Summit was my wedding weekend, which I was also success starter for, which they don't transfer success starter tickets, by the way. I was but no, I mean, I was still I think I caught the highlight reel, a little bit later, pictures, seeing everybody there, and then all of a sudden Maggie's there, later on.
So what events for you, Claire, have been game changers? I know we've talked about events being so big for us, but what are you, what about you, girlfriend?
I know. Well, first of all, I mean, most recently, the Super Saturday that I just went to, Joel Freeman was there, and that was the biggest team showing we had there. We had, Brittany, Loretta, Julie, we met up with Rachel and Caitlin. It was the biggest, team that we had ever had there, and Passion Fit Dynasty was being represented. And I was just like, and I had a moment there, and I was like,
so fun.
Oh my God, I have like 3 of my coaches, 3 people are here because of me. Like, and saying that, like that was like a huge like moment for me. And we got like lunch afterwards, and we talked, we had so much fun. And honestly, I mean, Diamond Retreat, I remember going to Diamond Retreat, being so excited, but so scared because of self-doubts and all that crap. No, we're going to get cut off soon. But I left and I threw all that crap away. And I was like, no, we're changing this business. And this team has really, I think, changed a lot since then.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
The retreat was such a game changer for me too.
I know. Well, thank you so much, Maggie, for jumping on tonight. Like, I can't wait to see you in a couple weeks, guys. I'll have to tell you about our little break up soon. But thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you guys all for coming on. It is awesome for people to, you know, to be able to tell my story, but then also like you guys all have a freaking story. So get excited about it, own it, and like literally just like make your story your story. And that's all you can do.
Yeah. Woo! Go team, guys. Thank you so much, guys. You guys have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.